I am the most wanted person in the world since the plane I was flying that day mysteriously disappeared. It was a sunny and bright day as the plane rose at the airport. I was very excited because we were going to fly to a distant place called Beijing in China. We were all smiling and ready to take off. The plane soared into the sky like a giant bird. The stewardess gave us treats and made us feel comfortable in our seats. But suddenly, the plane started to shake a lot. I got really scared and so did all the other passengers. Things started to fall and the ceiling lights flickered. I heard a loud noise and the oxygen masks fell in front of us. We all put on the masks and fastened our seatbelts. I was a little scared, but the stewardess reassured us and told us everything would be okay. The plane continued to shake and it seemed like we were flying towards an unknown place. I looked out the window and saw the sky turning dark. I didn't know where we were going or what was happening. The adults were worried and wondered what had happened. Some said maybe there was a problem with the plane, others said strange things like we were in another world. But we couldn't communicate with anyone outside. We couldn't call Mom and Dad to tell them we were okay. We were all trapped in a mysterious place and that scared me a little. Many hours passed and the plane kept flying aimlessly. I was confused and sad. I wanted to go home and hug Mom and Dad, but I couldn't do that. All the passengers were worried and some were crying silently. Time passed and no one knew what had happened to the plane. It became a big mystery story that everyone around the world was trying to solve. Every day people talked about flight MH370 and what had happened to it. As a child, I didn't understand everything that was going on, but I knew it was something very sad. I hope that one day they find the plane and discover what happened. But in the meantime, I will always remember that mysterious flight and the stories they told about it.
So this is death row inmate Taylor Parker, who went to extreme lengths to cover up her lies. She even killed a pregnant woman in order to steal the baby from her womb just to prove she was really pregnant. So picture here we have Taylor and her boyfriend Wade and what appears to be a baby bump. What later is found out is just an actual prosthetic baby bump, not a real one. She was covering up this entire time, pretending to be pregnant so that Wade would not leave her. Now, she couldn't have gotten pregnant because she had a hysterectomy several years earlier, but Wade was unaware of this. Well, that's where Reagan comes into play, because Reagan actually was pregnant around the same time that Taylor said she was pregnant. And she knew Reagan because she had been a photographer at Reagan's wedding. Now, Taylor's perpetrating this lie the entire time, so even holding a gender reveal party and going to ultrasound, sending fake images to her boyfriend. He never gets to go into the doctor's office. She keeps telling him, oh, sorry, it's COVID. You're not allowed to go back there. So he begins to grow a little suspicious of the whole thing, especially after when the day she was supposed to be induced, his house catches on fire and a bomb threat at the hospital they were supposed to be induced at occurs. And then she becomes 3 weeks late on her pregnancy. That's when Wade's mother pulls him aside and says, I actually think you're onto something. She's probably not pregnant. Wade confronts her once again about the whole thing, and she says, watch, I'm going to get induced at a hospital in Oklahoma, and you will see. So Friday, she sets up an appointment to be induced. So that morning, Wade actually goes to a hog sale because he was supposed to go down to this sale about 4 hours from their house, come back, drive her to the hospital, and watch the baby be induced. Well, ends up being that he goes there, and it was a false. She had set this up for him to actually go to this hog hunt so she could go see Reagan and murder her, and she does. Sadly, she goes over to her friend's house, attacks her, stabs her with a scalpel that she had over 100 times while her little daughter is standing right there. Then she cuts open her stomach and extracts the baby from it and rushes towards the hospital. She gets pulled over for speeding and says, hey, look, I just had this baby. It's unresponsive. Help me, help me. She had actually tucked the umbilical cord into her pants to make it look like the baby was still attached to her. But the hospital staff begins to grow suspect as she refuses to be checked at all, and the baby shows up dead, and they actually heard that there was a baby that was abducted from another murder victim after the mother of Reagan showed up and found her daughter with hundreds of stab wounds. Sadly, at court, all this web of lies comes out. Reagan and the baby were killed. She was sentenced to murder and sentenced to death in Texas, where she currently sits on death row awaiting execution.
What's up, everybody? All right, you guys, so before we get started, if you're not already following me, make sure you hit that follow button and let's get into this crazy story. So today we're going to be talking about 31-year-old Jovea Jackson. So beginning her career, Jovea graduated from Liberty University and she went on to become a detention officer at the Rockdale Sheriff's County Office in 2015. So in 2019, she didn't stop there. She received her certificate in training and she went on to be the person who trained the new officers. In 2020, she went on to finish her basic law enforcement training and she became a deputy officer. So y'all, she also was a school resource officer. I mean, she had many jobs and she was really doing good in her career. Now, we know that sometime in 2018, she met this man by the name of Terrell Douglas. So Jovea and Terrell, they dated on and off for years. But Terrell did have sort of like a criminal past and he was a felon. Now, remember, this girl works for the sheriff's office. So once the sheriff's office actually found out about this, they ended up questioning her about it. So when police questioned her about it, she did admit to having a relationship with Terrell. So she got in trouble for this a couple of times, but she reassured her job that her and Terrell were over in 2022. But her job knew something was wrong in January when she was promoted and they saw Terrell at her promotion. Now, y'all, let me just say this. Nobody is judging Terrell on his past. I don't know his past criminal record. I didn't look it up. But I'm guessing because of the job that she has as an officer, it didn't look good that she was dating a felon. And that's what her superiors and people above her were trying to tell her. So in May of this year, she ended up getting in trouble again for talking to Terrell. But y'all, this time was very different. Now, she did tell her higher ups that yes, she was still messing around with Terrell, but now it was a little bit more complicated because she was pregnant.
Prohibited association with Mr. Douglas because of his felony status.
But he's not answering my phone calls, my text messages. I don't know where he is. We linked up, messed around, and now I'm pregnant.
So another reason why she was getting into trouble was because someone did a drive-by shooting on Terrell. So when this took place, she heard about it and she went to the scene. Now, once police arrived on the scene, they did find a weapon in Terrell's car. And remember, he is a felon, so he's not supposed to have a weapon. They questioned her about it and she said she knew nothing about a weapon. She knew nothing about anything. All she knew was somebody tried to shoot him. So in May, things got so bad to the point where she was pregnant. And basically, she just went ahead and quit before she was terminated. They had started investigating her, investigating the relationship. And I'm guessing just to ease all the confusion, she just went ahead and just quit. So in the midst of all of this going on, Terrell is still not answering her calls or her texts. And y'all, that's when this ex-officer did the unthinkable. So on June 4th, around 8 p.m., police responded to a call about a shooting in Jonesboro, Georgia. So once they got there, y'all, they did find a man with a gunshot wound and he was laying at the entryway at an apartment door. So police quickly named this man as Terrell Douglas. They rushed him to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. So people in this area tell police that Terrell was at these apartments and he was visiting a friend.
Me and him sat and talked. We just sat and talked a while.
Dwight Robinson says he was friends with Terrell Douglas. Then June 4th, Robinson says he heard a loud pop at the South Lake Cove apartment.
So people in this area quickly identified Jovea as the shooter. So because Terrell was not answering the phone for her and didn't want to talk to her anymore, it's being said that Jovea then stalked and followed him to these apartments where she then killed him. So there are rumors circulating saying that Terrell did have a girlfriend and allegedly this was the girlfriend's apartment. So after she killed Terrell, she did flee the scene, but she later went and turned herself in to police where she was charged with malice murder.
Found him and shot him June 4th. Robinson says now a baby will grow up without a father and mother who could be locked up for a long time.
It's sickening. Terrible.
And Jackson faces malice, murder, possession of a firearm during a felony, and stalking. A woman who says she lives in this apartment said she had no comment.
Now, y'all, this story is absolutely tragic. My heart goes out to the family of Terrell. He did not deserve to be killed. So, y'all, this woman had a great career. She was getting good jobs. She was getting promoted. And she had just found out she was pregnant. She just threw away her entire life and her entire career and her child's life, all because she wanted to take this man's life out of jealousy. Regardless of this situation, nobody deserved to lose their life. Now, if this man wanted to move on with his life, that was his choice, regardless of what was going on. It's sad that she threw away her career, threw away everything just to be in this relationship. But at the same time, we have to start putting ourselves first. Now, y'all, comment below and let me know your thoughts on this case.
Breaking news, an ex-husband of missing Rudy's mother has spoken out. The mom of missing Rudy was accused of bigamy by a former husband. He says he married Rudy's mother on October 23, 2012, only to discover she was legally married to at least one of 5 other possible spouses. And 12 months after they were legally married, he filed for divorce. The annulment was granted by a judge on August 10, 2015, 5 months after Rudy was reported missing. Here is the court document finalizing the annulment. Rudy's father passed away in 2014 after he took his own life. He was relieved of his duties as a police officer following an internal investigation. In 2011, Rudy's brother passed away due to a motorbike accident. There is also new footage of local activists saying that his mother has recently paid neighbors to come into her home and destroy evidence. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
This is the final image of a man shortly before he would die in one of the worst deaths imaginable. Viewer discretion is advised. Pictured here is Deon Dreyer. He was from South Africa and he was a diver. On December 17th, 1994, the 20-year-old was diving. This was at Boesmansgat Cave, which is located in South Africa. And I guess this is a particular area known as Bushman's Hole. He was doing a practice dive there, but he never made it up. And his body never floated to the surface. They believe he may have died from oxygen toxicity. They had sent people down there to see if they could recover his body, but it never became a possibility. Until 10 years later. This was diver David Shaw. He was originally from Australia and he was a technical diver who had done well over 300 dives. Well, one day he decided he was going to attempt to go to the bottom of Boesmansgat and try to retrieve the body of Deon Dreyer. He went down there, he found the body, which was unbelievable to begin with. He then had to go back up to the top, which is where he would tell Deon's family, I found him, I'm going back down and I'm going to get him. It was January 8th, 2005. This photo was taken moments before that particular dive. He had also gone down there with a partner. This is kind of a visual representation of what this dive would have looked like. Very deep, very dark. The two divers did manage to get themselves to the bottom, where they did find the body of Deon Dreyer again. Now, as Dave is trying to basically get hold of the body, what they didn't really account for was that the body had become very buoyant. This was because, I guess, of like the skeletal remains, but also partially covered with the diver's scuba suit. It like developed this soap-like kind of material that caused the body to float. So Dave is beginning to kind of struggle with all of this. He puts his underwater light down on the surface of the cave, which there's a bunch of wires connected to that light. As he's struggling with the body, the wires get caught around him. Dave becomes entangled in these wires. They're becoming entangled with the cords of the body bag they were using as well. Dave is struggling to free himself. His partner was also getting entangled. That individual does manage to begin to resurface because he needs to. But Dave, unfortunately, is kind of left tangled in these wires down below. As Dave struggled and struggled and struggled, the high pressure of being down that deep would create severe respiratory issues. There would be a large buildup of carbon dioxide, which then caused him to black out, where he then died. 3 days later, Dave Shaw's body and the body of Deon Dreyer would both float to the surface of Bushman's Hole. The coroner would warn that metal drinking straws should never be used with a fixed lid, and this is one of the reasons why. Hello, true crimers. This is another Worst Unusual Deaths. Viewer discretion is advised. This was 60-year-old Elena Struthers Gardner. and she lived in Broadstone, England. At the time of this story, she was a retired jockey. This particular story happened in November of 2018 when she was in her home. Elena went to the kitchen to fix herself a drink, and she was using one of those glass mason jars with the screw top lid, and it had the pre-punctured hole up top so that you could put a metal straw, eco-friendly straw, in it. The particular straw she was using was 10 inches. As she was walking back to the living room or wherever she was going, she accidentally slipped and she fell on top of the mason jar on her head, basically. The 10-inch metal straw went through her left eye socket and it pierced directly into her brain. Elena's wife, unfortunately, would discover her on the ground, and she described it as she was like just making these gurgling noises, and she was kind of like wriggling about. She was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately within a day she would be pronounced dead. The coroner would advise that these metal straws, because they're rigid, they are a solid piece of metal. And the coroner said that when you put them in a fixed position, like through the lid of a mason jar with just the little straw hole, you are basically creating a very dangerous situation if you fall. I mean, basically it's like cementing a knife, so it's better to be in a position where the straw can like move around. But if you are using jars like this with a fixed metal straw, now knowing the story, just be extra mindful when it comes to handling these. You never in a million years think something like this can happen, but this straw went through a person's eye, through their socket, and embedded in their brain, killing them. Just be careful.
17-year-old Tommy Grays, known by many as Trey, was on vacation in Puerto Rico with his family when he was gunned down on the beach in the Isla Verde resort area. 2 family members were also shot in what authorities are calling a targeted shooting. His father, who was not there, is heartbroken.
The message is to love them babies, to love your children. Don't take your time with them for granted, and keep an eye on them.
Tommy lived in Olney and was a rising 12th grader at Blake High School. The principal said in a letter, although he was fairly new to the school community, he had developed strong relationships with many students and staff in such a short period of time. His smile was contagious.
He was so excited about it, and he won't see his first day as a senior.
The alleged gunman, Carlos Anibal Rosado Martinez, also shot 2 other family members, police say, following an argument on July 1st. The 23-year-old is facing murder, attempted murder, and gun charges. Tommy's father said his son is unfairly being made out to be the villain by some on the island.
My boy was an innocent kid with not a single violent bone in his body. He had never been in a physical fight a day in his life. And he lost his life, and it's being said that he was being violent. Makes no sense.
His dad says the argument involved another family member and that it was over when the shooter grabbed a gun.
My son had actually stopped the situation from happening. He then walked back to the beach and was in the water with his stepfather when the guy came running back up shooting at them.
Tommy was the 3rd tourist killed in Puerto Rico in the last 2 months. His dad is concerned efforts to protect the tourist economy is affecting public opinion in the case.
What it is happening is it's being spent as if the tourist was an aggressor in the situation, and that's not the case at all.
Tommy's dad flew to the island after he got the call. He's there trying to get answers and get his son's body back home.
I just want to get my babies home and in a safe place. And I just never want to see this place ever again.
Darcy Spencer, News 4.
Tommy's uncle and stepfather were also shot in that confrontation.
You do not have to be that close to
She just did it to me. Have a permit. This woman's 22-year-old daughter, Leilani Simon, is accused of murdering her 22-month-old son, Quentin. She threw his body in these dumpsters, and it took weeks before his body was found in this landfill. People began to protest in front of their house.
There is no peace. Where is baby Quentin? I'm acting.
This footage was taken weeks before Quinton's body was found.
That's the kind.
The protesters knew that his family was hiding secrets. Quinton's grandmother even hired a clown to make fun of the situation.
You do not have to be that close to someone.
No,
that's invading their personal space.
She just did it to me.
I need you to go back.
She just did it to me.
Ma'am, you came across the street.
I did come across the street
because
because that sign was posted by Chief Hadley.
And that sign says 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
And they have to have a permit. Yes, they do. They have to have a permit to be here.
No, not according to the ACLU.
Let me do my job, and you stay over there. Okay?
Hello.
Leilani Simon faces 19 counts including malice murder, felony murder, and concealing the death of another in the death of her 20-month-old son, Quinton.
Guys, there's breaking news happening right now here in Pflugerville in the Pecan District. Police, Round Rock Police, Pflugerville Police, and the FBI are searching a field right now in connection with serial killer Raul Mesa Jr. I want to go ahead and show you some of this scene. You can see you've got FBI out here. That's Round Rock's Police Regional Unit, Pflugerville Police, and just over here they were bringing over boxes from that field. And this is not far from Concordia High School here in Pflugerville. This is just north of Austin, Texas. Just a reminder, Raul Mesa Jr., he is a convicted serial killer dating back decades, pled guilty to multiple cases, and recently in May he called and confessed to murders of an elderly man, also a woman named Gloria Lofton back in, I believe, 2019. And now, right now, FBI and other law enforcement are searching this field here in Pflugerville in connection with possible evidence in relation to him. Still don't know much. I will definitely update right here as police give us a little bit more, but I'll update here and at KVUE News.
He just had the shooting. Please hurry.
Calling County 911. What's location
we
emergency?
need the police right now. We're at Fall Creek Landing with a drunk in our boat trying to hurt us. We've already...
Listen to me. Which Fall Creek Landing are you at?
On the south side. On the south side.
Where the rock used to be or where the other one is?
No, on the other side. On the new side where you go over to the island on the site.
Okay, so Fall Creek 2.
Hurry. We can't
You
take
said, what'd you say about a gun?
Yes, my husband's already had to fire at him and hit him in the head. He's attacking us. He's already broke stuff in the boat. We dragged him in out of the water after he wrecked his jet ski. And now he's fighting my husband. Hurry!
Okay, I got him on the way. You said you're at Fall Creek number 1. They are on the way. I need you to answer some questions. What kind of gun does your husband have?
Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Stop! You're stupid. Listen, B's not gonna let you have your shit and get going. No, we want to put you over there, but you don't want to. No, you're not.
You know you have... Honey, who would you call?
Well, you called me right. I don't know you.
Oh, bring it
I don't know you. It's get worse. Now stop.
Yeah, stop. Yeah. Honey.
I don't know you. I don't know you.
Oh, my God.
Ma'am, I've got everybody on the way. Did your husband shoot the guy?
No, please.
Hurry, we need a minute too.
I've got him on the way. Did your husband shoot the male subject or just shot at him?
You're my nephew, Chief. I'm not driving over right now.
Well, if you would...
Hey, listen.
Hello?
30 seconds to get me. Yeah. Yeah.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
I'm on the key right now. You'll get free. Give my key. Right there. You get my shit. You got 30 seconds.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Right there. Right there.
We're going to take you there.
Get my shit right there. Give me that. Right now.
He's trying to get the key fixed. You tore the thing up. He's trying to get it fixed.
Honey, I ain't...
Ma'am, where are y'all at right now?
We're around to the dike area on the back side of Fall Creek. We can't get our bait to work. He broke the kill switch.
Okay, are you at the landing or are you out in the water?
No, we're out in the water next to the houses. Just past. There's jet skis going round and round. You can't miss it.
Okay, listen to me. I'm trying to get people out there. I don't have any boats on the water.
Well, we got to have
You're-
somebody.
Okay, they're on the way. Can you go to the landing and I'll get everybody to meet y'all at the landing?
He broke the kill switch on the boat. He's broke our boat.
So the boat is broken?
Yes, he's yanked the kill switch.
Has he been shot?
No, but he's been hit in the head and he's bleeding. I'm bleeding.
Okay, is that the guy? Is that your husband or is that the other guy?
That's the other guy. We got. Get away from me. And he's got a young girl with him that's scared to death.
So y'all are just free floating in the lake because your motor won't start?
Yes, we pulled them out of the lake. He broke the kill switch. Our boat won't start. His jet ski is going round and round in the lake. God bless. We don't want to push him back in. I don't want him to shoot him. He needs an ambulance. His head's bleeding.
Yes, ma'am. I've got everybody on the way out there, okay?
Please hurry.
What color is your boat?
It's a hurricane.
What color is it?
Tan. Oh, shoot, John. He's starting to fight my husband again.
No, give him a jet ski. Can't, you broke the damn kill switch.
Okay, ma'am. I'm going to get...
Steering wheel. God bless him.
He said it was like you're a hurricane boat. What color is it?
Again.
I understand that, but what color is your boat?
It's tan colored, cream and tan.
My name is Hannah Ayers.
And what's the guy's name?
His name is Drew Moore. I hardly know.
Is he drunk?
I was with him, and he wrecked me twice. And these people.
Has he? Listen to me. Is he intoxicated?
What?
Is he intoxicated or been doing drugs or anything?
He's really drunk right now.
Lord, stop him. Stop him, Lord. We need you. Oh, God.
Ma'am, I got everybody coming to you, okay?
He just had to shoot him. Please hurry.
What's going on?
Oh, my God. He's shot now. Hurry.
You said he's shot now?
Yes. My husband had to shoot him. He's trying to choke him and knock him out of the boat.
Where'd they get shot at?
In the gut, in the stomach, and chest. And my husband's back hurt. Please hurry.
I got everybody coming, okay? They've been on the way. I know where you're at. I'm trying to get boats to you.
Honey, calm down. Calm down. Oh, shoot. God. Somebody! Help! Oh, my God, John. Let me lay him down. No, don't do anything.
Ma'am, did y'all make it to the dock?
Yes, yes.
No, I have the gun.
Okay, listen. How many people have been shot? Just one person was shot. Nobody else has been shot.
No, just rough up and hurt.
Okay.
Hello?
Ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, is my deputy out with you?
Yes, we're here.
Ask him, is it okay for medics? Ma'am, ask him, is it okay for medics?
Yes.
Yes, send them in. Send them in.
Okay, we're good for medics. Go ahead and send them in.